Hey kids, this is Ivan. How you doing? Well, this is a video about not underestimating the resources in your local area, and in this case, it's a local comic shop. I'll tell you what, I don't read a heck of a lot of comic books. In fact, none right now. I was into Marvel comics when I was a kid. I really enjoyed them, but after a while, I just I don't want to say grew out of it. I just got interested in different things, and life is really busy, and so I kind of fell out of touch. And so it would take, for me, when I'm all in, I'm all in. So I really want to know a whole bunch about it. So I don't know if I'm ever going to have the time to take a deep breath and kind of dive back into, various comics and whatnot. However, I got introduced to this comic shop because Bobby's World here in Middletown, Connecticut. And there's this card. Bobby's World is a place that I played some games at, with the local gaming group that I was, I'm like on again, off again part of. And anyhow, we started playing someplace else. However, I went over there because I bought some dice from him, and I just every once in a while see some stuff he has there. And he does have some role-playing games stuff there. So I stopped in there today, just kind of on a lark, and I walked in, and I was like, oh man, I'm in trouble now because 7th Sea had the player's guide, and he had this little companion or compendium, little compendium thing there and these were cheap. So I got these. There's no Game Master's Guide, but I'll have to pick one of those up. And I got really interested in this game because Sebastian, No Inquisitor, has really been talking this thing up. And while I enjoy Ubiquity, I'm enjoying the heck out of Regime Diabolique, All for One, and the other Ubiquity-based games. This is kind of like on steroids. This is like super swashbucklery. I think it's charisma and dexterity all in one sexy package is what he called it in his video. I'll probably link his video down there. Or probably maybe link his video series on 7th Sea. So I'm not very far into this book. I'm already enjoying the heck out of it. It's just hysterical. And the big thing with this game, maybe I'll talk about it at some point, but his videos are great. So I don't know. The big thing is it's kind of Europe, but it's not Europe. But I tell you what, the one thing that really struck me as I'm reading through a lot of the setting material in this game is, if you've heard me talk before, I'm like, I have to take a deep breath before I really dive into a setting, because just like diving into, Marvel Comics or whatever the heck it would be, again, taking a lot of work. And do I really want to do that? This has a really, really cool way of alternate history, but not really alternate history. In other words, it's not Europe. It's just kind of this thing that looks sort of like Europe. But the nations, as you're reading about them, well, it's obvious one of them is England. England, Scotland, and Ireland all wrapped up, in fact, 3 different monarchs. It's obvious one is Spain, one is France, one is Germany, one is Russia. One is these crescent lands are kind of like just kind of the Middle East, kind of that vibe. Another one is kind of like, the China and the Far East sort of vibe. One is like Scandinavian countries and whatnot. But, most of it centers around the, classic like Western Europe when it comes right down to it. So you're reading this kind of history and all the names, and you realize these are all sort of mirrors of real European history. But it's not, everything is recognizable, is the point I'm trying to make, but it's not alternate history for Spain, alternate history for France. It's this other world where the things are kind of like that, but there's other stuff going on. So it's just enough, it's just familiar enough, and this is, of course, my first read through it. It's just familiar enough so it's not that hard to kind of grasp and figure out, but then just weird enough outside of that, the alternate things that are going on, including magic and all kinds of sub-history and things that have nothing to do with this world whatsoever. That it's very, very compelling. I like the way they've done this, and so I enjoyed the roll and keep system, or at least Sebastian's videos on it. It seems very intuitive and easy to grasp. It is, very over the top. This is made for some extreme swashbuckling, so when I want that flavor now, I'll have it. But one of the things I was not prepared for in reading this book was how impressed I am in the way they present the setting, because it's recognizable, but it's really not Europe. And so for whatever reason, for me, I'm really giving them a plus on producing that setting that's instantly easy to digest and remember, because you kind of already know it anyway. And this is of course the first edition. The second edition is something I'd like to play a few times for the experience. It does not sound like a game I want to play very often, because they really changed the system. Not a critique. It's just kind of like this is floating my boat a lot more than the revised kind of hybridized story version of it. No offense, MLG. I really want to play with you. I just don't want to play second edition all the time, I don't think. But anyhow, yeah, local comic shop, local secondhand bookstores. You can find some really cool stuff every once in a while. So that's my video for today. Take it easy, kids.